Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift Farm. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and let's throw up the field for Friday's two-year-old race at Saratoga. We kick off the 20-cent Empire 6 with race number 5. Two-year-old fillies, New York breds, going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. And Nicole, for some New York breds, we've got some very expensive, well-bred horses in this race.
We do. And you know what? We have a lot of very good two-year-old sires represented in this race, both from New York and from the national marketplace in Kentucky. We also have a lot of this year's freshman sires represented in this race. I think it's a very interesting group.
We'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Party at Pages. This is a daughter of gemologist who is a good juvenile debut stallion. Wins 15% of the time. Party at Pages sold for $10,000 as a yearling. And as you see on the pedigree card, there is some sprint and precocity in this family. The dam was a 3-time sprint winner. She has foaled 3 winners from 4 runners. This is one of 2 fillies trained by Jeremiah Engelhardt and will likely go off the higher price.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of speed in the female family of this gemologist filly, as you alluded to. Engelhardt does well with his 2-year-olds here, but this one's drawn down inside in a decent-sized field for her debut. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes off the lower price of the 2 Engelhardt horses, but I just think that draw is going to be a bit to overcome for her.
Let's take a look at a formulator fact concerning Jeremiah Engelhardt and Party at Pages and the 9 Sambarella. Over the past 4 years, with 2-year-old debut runners in New York bred maiden special weight dirt sprints at Saratoga, you can go deep with formulator. 35% winners, a $3.17 ROI. Engelhardt does very good work. The number 2 in here is Raffinity. This is a daughter of Belmont Stakes winner Tonalist, and she is a half-sister to 2-year-old debut winner and multiple stakes place performer Bourbon Empire, a $70,000 yearling. I wonder if this filly might appreciate a little bit more distance down the road.
Well, I think that should be the case with her. You see the names in this family like Z Fortune and Fortunate Faith who did better going longer. And the Tonalists, they just get so much better at age 3, as we've seen with his graded stakes winners this year, like Country Grammar and Tonalist Shape. Raffinity is one that I'm going to look for down the line.
Number 3 is Irish Constitution, and this filly has a win early pedigree and might be a sleeper in this race. Constitution has just been a revelation as a stallion. 27% winners from juvenile debut runners. This $165,000 yearling purchase is a half to a juvenile stakes place turf rider, but this dam was very fast. I would expect Irish Constitution to show some speed.
Oh, certainly. And, you know, Constitution did so well in last year's strong freshman sire class, second by earnings only to American Pharaoh, who had that Breeders' Cup winner, was right there by winners, by stakes winners. Constitution unveiled a little 2-year-old at this meet last year, Tiz the Law, who only went on to be a grade 1 winning 2-year-old that has won the Belmont Stakes this year. Constitution's second crop has come out of the gate running. He's got 3 2-year-old winners already from his second crop, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Irish Constitution join that list at all.
The first 3 horses are first-time starters. Let's talk a little bit about some experienced runners, beginning with the number 4, Buston Shuffle. This is a daughter of Buston Stones, a very good and precocious 2-year-old stallion, a $22,000 yearling. Nice pedigree. You see some nice black-type names. This filly didn't show a lot of speed in her career debut. She was floated wide over a wet track, however. I wouldn't be surprised if she improves.
I wouldn't at all. One of several coming out of the same race here was fanned very wide into the lane and past some tired horses. I think that she should move forward off that. Buston Stones, you mentioned, a top 5 2-year-old sire in New York, winner of the grade 1 Carter handicap, a fast horse who throws fast horses.
Number 5 is Going, Going, Gone. This is a daughter of Kentucky Derby winner Orb, a $30,000 yearling. And we look at this pedigree, and there might be geared toward route racing, turf, synthetic racing. The dam's a half to Strike It Rich, a graded stakes winner. A half to Tomlin, who's entered in a stakes race at Del Mar this week. The second dam was a graded stakes winner, going long on the dirt. Going, Going, Gone showed brief speed in her career debut. I thought she ran in spots in that race. She gets blinkers on and switches into the Rudy Rodriguez barn. I think she's another one capable of normal second out improvement.
I think she's very much capable of improvement. And, you mentioned kind of the mix of abilities that we see in this pedigree. But when I took overall, the impression to me actually says definitely going longer and perhaps turf or synthetic. I think Orb is a little bit of a turf sire himself. We've talked about Orvolution and a couple of his other runners over the years. Over a Giants Causeway mare, the dam from the family of that good turf router, Strike It Rich. This is one who I'm going to circle and maybe look for value later on if they do try her a bit longer and on a different surface.
Of the experienced horses, the one that has perhaps shown the most potential is the number 6, Jill's A Hot Mess. And we're going to go back to Jill's A Hot Mess's local debut over the New York circuit, and she showed good speed. She's on the lead right now, and this even money favorite, Make Mischief, is a nice filly. She's eventually going to wear down Jill's A Hot Mess. Make Mischief came back to be graded stakes placed. We also see Going, Going, Gone. She's the number 5 and 5th place right now, but a good effort for Jill's A Hot Mess. She has the experience edge over most of her competition, and she has speed.
Yeah, definitely. She's shown speed in both her starts, definitely improved from the first start to the second. Not out of the question she could take another step forward. She's drawn pretty well to work out a good trip here. I just do wonder about all of the trainer switches that she's had. She's from the first crop of Laban, who's one of the first sons of Uncle Mo with his first runners this year. Uncle Mo, of course, an outstanding juvenile sire, and his sons are following in his footsteps. Laban in the column already with a winner, as are a couple other sons of Uncle Mo, Outwork and Uncle Lino.
Another 2-year-old by a first crop stallion is up next. That's the number 7, Dorothy's Star. And folks remember Exaggerator as a classic winning 3-year-old, but he was a very good 2-year-old as well. I believe he won the Saratoga Special here. The dam was a stakes placed dirt sprinter, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dorothy's Star improves a little bit off of her career debut. She is going to have to, because she only raced evenly in that performance.
Yeah. And, you mentioned exactly what I wanted to about the first crop sire Exaggerator. He was a classic winner, and certainly I expect his foals to run well going longer, as Exaggerator's a son of Curlin, but he was a very good 2-year-old himself. He was quick early. He knocked heads with some good horses, won the Saratoga Special, won the Delta Jackpot. He was a very, very good 2-year-old, and he sired 2 winners already from his first crop.
A horse that figures to run very, very well on Friday is the number 8, No Mo Spending. This is a daughter of Uncle Mo who ran against open foes at Churchill Downs in her career debut. She took a little bit of money that day, and she ran all right, sort of an even performance from an outside post. Dropping in with New York breds, this is a full sister to Blewett, who has a 96 Beyer speed figure on dirt and will be making his turf debut in a stakes race at Saratoga this week.
Yeah, and not only did this one face open company at Churchill, but I thought there was a nice group of 2-year-olds this spring at Churchill. We'll see how that bears out as they run elsewhere where the best 2-year-olds came from. We talked about Uncle Mo's sons, and here's one by Uncle Mo himself, just continuing to fire on all cylinders with his 2-year-olds.
And Ian Wilkes usually likes to give his 2-year-olds a race or two before they fire their very best shots, so I would expect No Mo Spending to improve drastically second time out. Here's the big pedigree in the race, the number 9, Samborella. She sold for $500,000 as a yearling. She's by first crop sire Outwork, and we don't have enough room to put all the black type in this female family on the page. It is a classy, precocious family. Let's talk a little bit about Outwork and Samborella's overall pedigree.
Well, Outwork, another one of these sons of Uncle Mo with their first 2-year-olds this year. Outwork's big win came in the Wood Memorial at 3, but he won his debut as a 2-year-old going 4.5 furlongs that April at Keeneland. Out of many of Uncle Mo's sons, Outwork is one of the ones who physically reminds me the most of him. He's got Uncle Mo's walk, he's got Uncle Mo's athleticism, and I think that if he passes that on to his progeny, he'll be in very good stead as a sire, if he follows in the mold of his sire, who's such an outstanding juvenile producer. And Outwork, another one of Uncle Mo's sons who is in the win column in this freshman class already.
The number 10 is Shane's Pretty Lady. This is a first-time starter by Bellamy Road. 7% winners with 2-year-old debut runners. The dam has foaled 3 winners. We see some turf ability on the bottom of this pedigree. Gary Gullo is a very underrated trainer with first-time starters. He usually has them geared up for Saratoga, and they often perform well at prices. It just appears that Shane's Pretty Lady's found a tough spot for her debut.
I think so. And you know what? She's got 4 published works here in the past performances for her debut. I'm wondering if this one's going to need to get a run in her to get some foundation to move forward off of. She's another one who I'm going to take the wait and see approach with.
Fun race on Friday for our Spa Baby event. Of course, our Spa Baby coverage presented by Spendthrift Farm. Let's take a look at our top selections for this race. Nicole, you like Sambarella, and what's not to like? Purchase price, pedigree, trainer intent. It seems like this filly has it all.
Yeah, I certainly think there are many ways that you can go in this race. So I'm going to look at Sambarella, who's obviously been pretty well regarded with that price tag. Buy a horse who was a quick 2-year-old, can get a 2-year-old winner. That whole sire line can, from a trainer who can get these horses ready to win in this sort of spot first out. I think she's got a bit more of an ideal draw than her Englehart trained stablemate down inside. I would certainly use Irish Constitution with how incredible he's been with his 2-year-olds. And then looking at the experienced horses to move forward, No More Spending, the Uncle Mo filly coming out of Churchill, and Bustin' Shuffle, that Bustin' Stones filly, who I think is poised to move forward.
Well, we both agree that Irish Constitution, the number 3, and the number 8, No Mo Spending, are solid contenders. I'm taking a stab in this race with one of the experienced horses. May want a little bit more ground, may want turf, but I thought Going Gone showed enough in her career debut that perhaps with the addition of blinkers and slightly more distance, she'll improve at a price. So I'll take a stab with Going Gone. Nicole's going with the 9, Sambarella. It's Friday's Spa Baby race, and our coverage is presented by Spendthrift Farm.